pastor of this church. Friends, souls, and assists. Her testimony is powerful. I will not share it. I will leave that for her to share as God leads. But I want you guys to buckle up. Fasten your seatbelts, because I believe that God is sending a whirlwind through this place. Look at what he's done so far. Thursday night, phenomenal. Last night, amazing. Y'all know after she ministers today at 2 o'clock, we have our panel discussion, what women want from a man and the godly way to go about getting it. So I am really excited about that, and I am closing the conference, the boot camp out tonight at 7:30. My message is the woman with holes. Now help me with holes in her soul. I'm ready. So y'all jump up on your feet as we honor the woman of God this morning.
I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here. To the angels of this house, my pastor, prophetess, and my apostle, spiritual mother, and dad, prophetess, thank you for being here, prophetess Alina, prophetess Kinga, to my 4 children, y'all part of the sermon as well, and the other 5 that I did not work. Was a single mother with kids with the help of no man and still have to push through. But what God gave me was breaking the soul ties. So when Evangelist, oh, you guys can sit down, I'm sorry. When Evangelist was talking about breaking the soul ties, I told Kenya, we were at the stadium, and she said, did God give you a message? I said, well, he gave me the title. And she said, what is it? I want to know. And I said, breaking the soul ties. And she said, she just looked at me. She didn't really say too much. She just looked at me and walked away. And I was like, what? It was, y'all know Kenya weird, walk away. It was one of those. So I was like, what? She was like, nothing. So I have 4, well, yeah. 3 in the possibility. How do I have 3 in the possibility? I was pregnant 5 times. Only 4 of them lived, but one of them I need a DNA test for. Just one of them. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Don't try to think of which one. I'm going to tell y'all which one. So when I was going before God, I said, God, why do you want me to speak on this topic? Yeah, I have kids, but don't you know I was a hoe? I was a worldly entrepreneur. Don't you know that? So, you know, me and God going back and forth, and I'm like, I believe the woman of God missed God. I believe she missed God when they ordained me as the pastor. I believe she missed God when she sat there and said, oh, I want you to speak to the single women. Bless me. I said, because I'm still struggling. I have 4 kids, and we're going to get to them. Okay, so I have, my oldest, and I was violated when I had her. I was 17, I was 16, and I was 17 when I had her. So, I battled with giving her up for adoption. So they were saying, what is her name? She didn't have a name. She didn't have, she was, what do they call them, John Doe? She was a baby Jane Doe. Because in my mind, she wasn't mine. I didn't want this child. You know, I was supposed to finish school, and I was supposed to go to the Army, and I was supposed to do all of this. How am I gonna do that with a baby? You know, and I was a foster child, so I really didn't have the support of my family, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to keep her. You know, I'm going to figure this out, because my cousin said, you can't give her up for adoption. She's going to have all these answers when she get older. Why did my mommy leave me? Why? She said, remember how you felt when your mama wasn't there. And I had to think about that. You know, I'm in a hospital bed, and, you know, I had to think about that. So I asked God, I said, God, what is this? He said, your soul tie started from when you was a child. It's not just, and I'm like, what? He said, it's not just sexual soul ties. Soul ties can be anything that you are connected to, ungodly soul ties. So if you're connected to your TV, that's a soul tie. And I was like, what? I thought soul ties, you know, because in my mind, if you ain't having sex with this person, you can't get no soul tie. Right. That was me. And I'm like, okay, so, and he said, your children is a soul tie. And I was like, okay. So I had to think about it. I said, God, how? You know, give me the answer how, because he give you a word first. It cuts you first before it cuts the people. Amen. So I said, how is this? Because I thought I prayed. I'm the pastor now. I can't have no soul ties. I thought I prayed. I've been fasting. You know, I've been checking my attitudes too, because everybody knows me. You know, I've been checking my attitude. I've been making sure I wasn't an alpha female. You know, I've been doing all that. So God said, you have it. I've been delivered, right? So I said, what area? Right. I said, what area of my life that I have not been obedient to? And he told me, so I'm going to tell y'all, but we're going to get to that. Y'all got to follow me on this journey. So I started being an entrepreneur, a worldly entrepreneur. And if y'all don't know what that is, I was a hoe. However, I can't say that in the pulpit, so I was a worldly entrepreneur. You don't say it now. I can't continue to keep saying it. You know, I just had, you know what I mean. So I had, mind you, all my kids' fathers, I had intercourse with them one time. One. I mean, one of them was multiple times in one day, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. It was just that one, you know, that one time. So I had my second son, well, my first son. So I was like, okay, you know, at this time, I'm in my 20s, and I got 2 kids, no car, you know, no man. And I'm like, I was in the church, you know what I mean? They knew I was hoeing. I told, or entrepreneur. I told them, I don't want to do this. And I was told, you need to go see a therapist. And I'm like, what's wrong? So that made me want to do it more. I mean, I got to go see a therapist anyway, because I thought therapists just talk to you about your life. I don't want to talk to them about that. I was a foster child when mama, I don't want to open those doors. I don't want to talk about that. But I didn't know that there was a soul tie. I was still tied and bound to the hurt and wanting to be accepted. So I had him. His dad wasn't there, you know. And I said, I was dating this, you know, entrepreneur, male entrepreneur, and he introduced me. I was 17 when I was introduced into the brothel. I was pregnant. What's the brothel? The brothel is the whole house. That's where you go and get your money, you turn tricks. The entrepreneur house. Where you go, you turn your tricks, and you do what you do. You know what I mean? And you get paid for it. So once I got introduced to that, I had a friend. Well, I thought she was my friend. She was my, we're going to get to that. So we're going to get to a lot of stuff. Because y'all got to go, it's a journey. We're in a car. Y'all, you know, we're in a 15-passenger van. And we're driving. Wow. So I had my son, and then I used to go to this place called Fantasyland. It was amazing. For entrepreneurs, worldly entrepreneurs. It was amazing. Amazing. But the thing is, I was leaving efficiency in my children because I was leaving them with friends. And a process to be violated on the level that I was. A process to be whatever because I needed to go make my money. So, God brought all this to my remembrance, and I'm like, I don't want to, tap into that. I don't want to open those doors because it takes me to a dark place to where I just like it. When I'm feeling things, I just like to be by myself. You don't have to talk to me. I just rather be home and be by myself. So I said, God, why are you showing me this? Because I'm trying to stay out there. I just was in the cave. I'm trying to stay out the cave. I'm like peeking my head out the cave because I'm like, is it safe to come out? And God said, you just dealt with a previous situation that had something to do with your child. And the way you handled it is a clear indicator that your kids are a soul tie. So I said, okay, well, I thought I handled it the best way I can because, I don't want to be like my mama. I don't want my kids to have to go with their dad. I didn't put in the work for this. Like you said, you didn't put in the work. I'm not married. So I didn't put in the work for this. I done got them to where they at. Now you want to come around and say, you want custody? No, that we're not doing. So I had to think about that because I'm like, okay, the prophetess gave me this word and I moved this way out of fear. So God said, yes, so that takes me to my first point. When a soul tie connection is unhealthy, it can be dangerous and destructive. So I said, how? I want to got a prophetess. I want to got a job. I'm working. I want to got a job. I want to, they ain't going to take my kids. They ain't going to. So, we're in this car. We going. So when I had my son, I said, okay, I'm done. I don't want no more kids. I'm not going to have no more kids. And then the enemy. I believe it was God, but I also believe it was the enemy. He done sit what I like. Tall, chocolate, dark skin. The color of that tablecloth. You see my child? So we were talking and I made the mistake of being destructive because I didn't bring him to my spiritual parents. So me and him talking, and he called me one day, and I'm like, he calling. The kids were at home. He calling. He said, what you doing? No, technically, I was going to the gas station. I was on my way to Fantasyland. I was going to the gas station. Fantasyland is a brothel. I was at the gas. I was on my way to work. I like that. And I made a pit stop because I needed gas, right? So he was at the gas station. Looking all tall. He had the hat on, took the hat off. It was like, we went to school together. So he was like, Coco. We're going to get to that name later. So I looked and he was like, what's up? Mind you, I should have known it was the enemy because when I was in school, you didn't want me. So he was like, oh, what you finna do? I was like, oh, nothing, I'm finna go to work. And he was like, you got to go clock in? I was like, no, I'm in my own schedule. He was like, well, take me somewhere. Okay. I took him. He went to his mama's house. He came back with a bag. Mind you, we didn't talk about you coming to my house. We didn't talk about none of that. So that led to him being at my house, right? So, we're doing what we're doing. No kids at home, right? So it was amazing. We're doing what we're doing, right? So I get a phone call. I ain't going to tell y'all who was on the other end of that phone. Some of y'all may know. She said, get the out your mouth. And I said, huh? She said, because now at this point, we looking around, me and him both. She wasn't on speakerphone, right? But he could hear her. We're looking around, because how do you know this? And if y'all wondering, it was Prophet Seals. I'm like, did y'all know? Like, how do you know this? So I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am. She's like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if he's there now, but I see it. And I'm, ain't nobody here. You don't have to come by. You don't have to sit. Ain't nobody here. Back then, we weren't iPhone people, so we couldn't FaceTime. So she said, get the pole stick from where it don't need to be, right? So I said, okay. Hung up with her, was still doing what I was doing. I mean, because at this point, you don't let something that good go to waste, right? We got to finish what we started.
I gotta repent anyway.
God to show her something. So I'm going to have to go in church and cry at the altar and do whatever at some point, right? So she called me back. She said, God told me, if you have sex in the next 90 days, you're going to get pregnant. Oh, no. You know, we ain't going to. Yeah, no, because I'm not having no more kids, right? She said, is your tubes tied? No, but I'm not having no more kids. I just prayed to God. I prayed to God and told him, I'm not having no more children. So, I hang up with her again. She called back, mind you, this is within 10 minutes. A 10-minute time frame. She called back. She said, I'll be to your house in 10 minutes. And if he's not gone, it's going to be a problem. And I'm like, this lady ain't finna come to my house. Our relationship wasn't that, you know, she gonna do what my mama did. She gonna let me be by myself. Leave me alone. Right? In my mind. I hang up with her again. So we started doing what we doing. Instead of, making a baby. Something that I didn't want, right? A soul tie. So she called back. She said, so you still gonna play with my prophetic gift? And I'm like, I'm not playing with you. He's there. So you gonna play with my prophetic? Where's the kids? Oh, they're not here. Oh, well, at least you had that decency not to have the kids there. I said, what are you talking about? Now, at this point, I'm getting upset. Because you interrupted my entrepreneurship. I could have finished.
Interview.
Right? I could have finished. And by the time she said, I'm 3 minutes away. This lady, I'm not worried about her. Right? But I didn't have a back door. And prior to that, I don't know why I was playing with this lady's prophetic gift, because prior to that, I was living in a project. I had a front door and a back door. And I had a couple that was in my house, pastors in my house. And, I was at work. And I get a knock at the door, and like the way my blinds was, I was able to see them before they could see me. And at this point, it was Prophetess Sims at the door, right? And I'm at work. I'm not going to open my door. You interrupt. You don't supposed to get interrupted in this time. While you're doing this. So I said, right, you're not supposed to get interrupted. My kids was there. None. My kids was there. So she knocked on the door. I know you in there. I ain't going nowhere. So me being the spoiled person I am, I tried to send him out the back door. However, the way them blinds were set up, I couldn't see that somebody was at the back door. She had her armor bearer at the time at the back. Not the back door, but the back door. So all I hear is, Prophets, there they go right here. At that point, I had to open the door because the kids was home, but they was asleep. I was giving melatonin before melatonin was a thing.
Come on.
So they was asleep, both of them, the two oldest. So I opened the door, and she's like, what is going on? And I'm like, nothing. But her armor bearer was being an armor bearer and didn't let the people leave. So she backed up trying to do whatever she doing or whatever instructions she got. Because, I was playing with the lady prophetic gift. I didn't know her that well.
Right.
So I felt like she just talked. And my friend brought me to the church. We're going to get to that too. People who are in an unhealthy soul tie relationship may experience intense jealousy, possessiveness, and codependency. They may become overly attached to another person and struggle to define their identity without them. So let's go back to the story. So she walks through the front door. She didn't even say anything to me. I opened the door. I'm the woman of the house. You're supposed to speak to me. You know, when y'all never heard that when you walk in somebody's house, you speak. She didn't speak. This is exactly what she did. And went straight to the back door. So I'm like, she don't have to go back there in my mind. So she go back there, and they out there having a phone conversation. A whole conversation. When I say a whole, like I wasn't even there. A whole conversation. So I said, okay, y'all can leave now. She said, no, I'm not done. Because they need deliverance too.
My God.
And I'm like, bro. So her and her armor bearer went doing whatever. They walked out, they wound up leaving. She said, if I see you back here, she said, I don't even have to be here. As a matter of fact, she went to praying, some prayer. At this point, I think it was Psalms 109. I don't know. But she went to praying something, and I wasn't trying to get involved in that because she was saying teeth fall out. And no, I need these teeth. I mean, it's better without the teeth, but I need them right now, you know, because I'm working. So, I mean, so she comes into the house. At this point, she still didn't say nothing to me, right? She still ain't talking to me, and I'm just looking at her because I don't know what to do. I'm like, where's her husband? Where's her daughter? Where's somebody to save me? So she go right into my room. No, first she walks into my daughter's room. She wasn't there. She wasn't in the room. So I guess they gave her a little, okay, the kid's not here. Then she walked into my son's room, and both of them out up in the crib, and she went off. When I say went off, she went off. You know, she went off, and she went to go get the oil out the car. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, these fools is crazy. Because at the end of the day, I'm still going to do it because I've been at another church for 6 years. That's a show. At least that's what I thought in my mind.
Right.
So I said, okay. You know, she went and got the oil and went in there, shut the door, and anointed the kids. And I'm like, okay, well, I went and got in my room. I mean, she ain't talking to me anyway. I don't know, but it's rude to tell the pastor to leave. So I couldn't just be like, get out, you know. So I allowed her to do what she did, you know. She ain't bothering me. The demons that I was dealing with, so
wow.
Why bother her when she doing whatever? So she then came into my room, and at this time it was toys everywhere, you know, in the bed, and she went to, what is this? And I'm like, what is what? So she goes and get a suitcase. My favorite suitcase, y'all. I mean, she replaced it. But she got my suitcase. And she started throwing everything. I mean, movies, toys, books. I used to read a lot of Zane books. She went to throw a lot of that in there.
Your work supplies.
My work supplies. And I'm like,
wow.
Why is she doing this? Because I need that. That's how I make my money. I need that. And she said, and it's not that you in here with the man, you in here with him and his wife. If they gonna allow it, why not do it?
Wow.
I'm making money. I was making anywhere between $500 to $15,000. Yeah, I was living in the projects. However, I didn't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
However, my priorities was off because I was spending my money on what I wanted. Wigs and the kids was nice. And you know what I mean? I didn't have to have a car because the bus was cheap.
Right.
And I paid my, we're going to get to that. And I was paying my time. You know what I mean? And it wasn't $200 and $300, right? So after that, I became very attached to the prophet. Okay, so let me take y'all back 2 months before that. My friend kept telling me, oh, you need to come to church. I'm not going to go to your church, lady. I don't want to go to your church. So then she said, you know, she was my best friend. We was in a brothel together. We was, you know. Then she said, she was at my house. And I heard the way her and the prophetess Lena was speaking to each other. And I said, why is she talking to you like that? Why is she asking you, not knowing the nature of our... So I said, why is she, what is it that you have to do for her? Like, are y'all, because me and her was. You know what I mean? So it was a soul tie there.
Right.
We were working, right? So we would go and get men and bring them back. And Family Sealand was the place because I had kids. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, we're not gonna do this. So she wound up sending me pictures of the prophetess booty. Right. Do you mind if I shut up her? Okay. So she wound up sending me pictures. And she was preaching. She was walking back and forth preaching, whatever the case might be. But I was so perverted. I had so many soul ties. So I'm like, okay, I most definitely will come to your church now. I'm gonna be there.
Wow.
Came that Monday. First I told her, I said, I don't have church clothes. I have work clothes, but I don't have church clothes. I felt decent. This was the most decent outfit. I was covered up though. I can't help the fact that, I was blessed at the top at the time. I'm not no more. However, I came with what I had. Because I could have came with a little to none. I came with the most clothes that was in my closet. And she burnt my skirt. R.I.P. to that skirt. However, she said, when I walk in, me and the kids sit in the back. My son, he was a preemie. So, he was attached to his mother. She may call him a crybaby. But he was attached to his mother. It was a soul tie that was there. He was attached to his mother. So she said, oh, come. They tried to take him away. And he started crying. And, she let him come back, whatever. So she said, the first day, she didn't say anything to me. The second day, she said, which was a Monday, she said, God told me that you're bound by some stuff. And I instantly got offended. Because I said, God didn't tell you that. My friend told you. But, I was testing her prophetic gift. I'm going to do that again. Her gangster. So she said, okay. So, I put my offering in the offering bucket. And she told me, she said, God said you can't put this offering in there no more. I'm like, why? First of all, let me tell you this. You said that y'all needed AC. It's hot in here. Let the help you, right? And she said, I don't need the help that bad, but I was in a church for 6 years who would take my offering. So I said, okay. She went out of town, and I'm like, this lady, let me pay my tithes and offerings. So I go back up there, pay my tithes. I don't know if the Lord snitched, if my daddy snitched, if my sister, I don't know who snitched. She came back and said, so you going to put that tithe in that again? She said, do it again. I'm going to slap you down in front of everybody. Because I tried to tell you. She said just like this, because I tried to tell you behind closed doors. So you still want to put that money into the church offering. I said, well, this is, I'm paying my tithes. I'm paying my offering. So I would have got right. So I would have got a job again, right? I was working at Diddy's. I was working at Diddy's. We were in Tampa, Florida. So I went and I put, my money in the offering. Now it's time. Because I used to love tithe and offering because I was able to put money in the offering, right? So I, went up there to go put my money in the offering, and the holy fire came out of nowhere. And it didn't go like it came, like when the kids, it was way back here. It hit my hand and my money fell. And I'm looking at this lady like, she's crazy. I don't know why she'll do that. I'm trying to put my offering in there. She said, I told you.
I'm working at DD's.
You cannot put this money. You cannot put this money in the offering. I said, well, I got a job. I'm working at DD's. She said, but this came from your paycheck? Yeah. You didn't ask which paycheck. You just asked, did it come from the paycheck? She said, all this money. She said, either you're still hoeing, you're selling drugs, but this, I used to work at corporate America. This didn't come from DD's. Oh, well, I've been putting in hours. I was putting in hours, right? I'm still testing this lady prophetic gift. So I said I was putting in hours, not knowing that she wanted me to be delivered from these soul ties. So I was putting the money in the offering. She knocked it out of my hand, and I looked at me, when I get in trouble by her, I'd be like that. And he'd be looking at me like, oh, no, I'm going back over there. But the other two, he'll save the other two. Me, he'd be like, nah, the daddy's kids.
Don't forget to get to that.
The daddy's babies. So, and I'm going to get to that too. So, I said, okay, this is a little too much for me. So, I'm like, yeah. So, she took me in the office because, first of all, I don't let bear stuff. That's the terrible thing to do because then I get sensitive. Then when I get sensitive, it's not nice. So, then she said, you can't keep putting this filthy money into the offering. So I said, maybe if I pray over it, it won't be filthy. Maybe. Because I didn't understand why she was on me so hard when the other pastor was allowing me to do what I do. So maybe if I pray over the money before I put it in the offering, maybe. So the next week I come. It's tithe and offering time. Everybody in the church look at me at this point. Like, I ain't even move. Not finna do it. I ain't even move. I sit in my door up there with the offering. Yeah. She said, baby, if you're going to let your mama and the enemy use you, then you're going to get what your mama got. She said, take it on back over there. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to put a lot in there. It was just at that point $2,000 or $3,000. I wasn't even trying to put a lot in the church. From DD's. So I called myself leaving the church because I'm like, she's not going to keep doing this to me. She don't understand the struggle. I got to take care of these kids by myself. DD's ain't paying. When you go from getting money from up here to $100 to $200 a week, well, what is that? What am I gonna do with that? I can't go get no more work equipment. I can't really feed the kid. What am I gonna do with that? I can't get my nails done. What am I gonna do with that? So she came over one day. I didn't want to see this lady. I didn't. I caught myself leaving the church. Because I'm like, this is how I make a living, not understanding that was a physical soul tie. Physical soul ties often involves physical connection, including sexual chemistry or conversations. So I was having sexual chemistry with a lot of people. Men, women, them, they, her, she, us, we, all of us, we were making,
magic
work. So she came and she sat me down and she said, this is why I'm so hard on you. So she told me, I was a hoe, she went into her testimony. You the preacher, you wouldn't know that lady. Go on about your business. You don't understand the struggle of these soul ties. So she said, you're raising a daughter. Do you want your daughter to be like you? And I said, I feel like I'm a pretty decent person. I don't bother nobody. I pay my tithes and offering. I could be walking down the street. We give a homeless man $100. That's a blessing. I'm a giver. I thought that was all to it. I'm a giver. Long as I'm giving and they come and say, you got 50 cents and I get them $100, Everybody needs met. I did the work of the Lord today, and you can eat you a couple of burgers. Get a hotel room, do what you do. So she said, no, that's not, and I told her that. She said, no, that's not what it is. That's not all it is. So she took me to the Proverbs 31, and I'm like, I can't be like that lady. She wasn't a hoe. She, you know what I mean? You can't go from being a hoe to being a virtuous woman. At that time, you couldn't always change your occupation. So she told me, she said, my husband married me, and I was a hoe. And I said, nah. He didn't marry a hoe. You can't turn a hoe to a housewife. He didn't marry a hoe. An entrepreneur. He didn't marry one of those. So, you know, she brought him in and he was talking to me and he was like, oh yeah, she was this and she was that. And I had people come up to me and do, you know, say this about her and say, I'm like, so that takes me back to playing with her gift again and having the third baby. Because she told me, you have sex, you're going to have a baby. And I believe it's going to be a girl. Yeah. I had a baby, and it was a girl. So I became emotionally unstable. I had this emotional soul tie with her father. Emotional soul tie usually entails strong feelings or closeness and attachment. So I was attached. At this point, I was attached to her because she was filling the void of my mama. Can't nobody talk to her. Wasn't nobody able to talk to her, y'all. Bakari, you wouldn't have been a sister of mine, honey bun. I don't like you. Don't come. No. I was jealous due to the fact of the soul ties, right? So she couldn't have other daughters. I mean, it wasn't no choice. And I gave her hell too.
Yeah, she gave me hell, y'all.
I'm not sharing. Basically, this is my property.
Right.
She don't want me to do this. So now, I was emotionally, not just with her, but with my daughter's father. So, you know, we talked about it. You know, he caught himself trying to marry me. It didn't work out because he wouldn't submit to God. So I'm like, okay, I'm not meant to be a wife. I just, you know, it's just me and my kids. Whatever. So I'd be doing so good because I'm like, I'm not going to have another baby. Every time I have sex, they just magically appear. Just magically appear. Right. That possibility. So she's a possibility because she acts like me. But she acts so much like me to it's scary. So I need a DNA test. Because I believe, you know, they switched them at birth. So, you know, I was doing good for a while. And then I fell again, prophetess. At this time, I didn't want to be around nobody. I was from hell. A witch, you know, from. So, I was mean to my nieces and mean to my children. And I just didn't, I was mean and I was bitter. And I'm like, you know, I see all these other people, they're not sowing the way I was sowing. They're not sacrificing the level I was sacrificing, but they're married. They're getting married. They're filing candidates to marry. But I didn't realize what they had to go through to marry these people. So I prayed to God. I said, I want to do it the right way. I don't want to have sex before marriage. I don't want, so if he said that he's my husband, I don't want to do that. I have made that mistake so many times. So I sat here and I said, when it came to it, I said, okay, he ain't it because I didn't have sex with him. He done got, you know, it ain't gonna happen. So we broke up. Then I met what I thought was amazing man. You know what I mean? He was filling the void of my work. We wasn't having sex, but my bank account was looking like we was. Right. So he was giving me money, didn't have to ask for it. I was able to go on these trips. Listen, I was going on trips. Y'all remember that? I was on trips after trips after trips. Prophetess would be like, I'm going here. Oh, me too. Because I got the money to go. She, at one point, are you back home? And, no, ma'am. I had to show her. He said this to me. I don't ask, because she was like, don't ask him. I don't want them to feel like it. I don't ask him. prophetess, he had a baby mama and kids. Came to the church, in front of the church, told him he ain't had no kids.
Right.
He had baby mama and kids and was living with him. But I didn't know that because we were spending a lot of time together. You're not going to be living with me and your account saying zero, because when he was getting paid, he was cash shopping and then selling it. So I didn't know. So I get a phone call from the chick, and she's like, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" And I'm like, "Maybe." Who's asking? "Oh, well, I'm his baby mama, and we live together." So I told Prophetess, I said, "Hey, this chick is calling me." She was like, "Oh, no, it may just be somebody." She said, because he's not moving like he's in a relationship. And I said, okay. So she said, "Don't get upset. Because it's over. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Talk to him about it." Or I talked to him about it. "Oh, no. Soul tie." No, he said, "Oh, no, we're not together." And then that's when the truth came out. We live together. We're not together. So I went and I told Prophetess. This is what he said to me. She said, "If that's the truth," at this point, the wife and her rose up. Because she said, "If that's the truth, he'll make these adjustments." So he proposed. God told me to move to Texas when they moved. I let him know. He was on board. "Oh, yeah, we're going." 2 days before the wedding, he came. He said, "I can't go to Texas right now." He said, we could still get married. Who? He said, "But you would have to stay here, and we can move to Texas when I can." And I told Prophetess, I said, this is what he said. She said, "How do you feel about it?" No, I just texted her. She said, "Come here." I didn't come. Because at this point, I'm like, God, again? Like, bro, I'm planning this wedding. It was going to be balloons everywhere, because we ain't doing flowers. It was going to be balloons everywhere. And it was tall, and I had mom walking me down the aisle, and the kid, it was just going to be, I had this whole thing planned out, buying stuff, and he giving me the money to buy the stuff, get the stuff shipped. So she came to where I was, and she said, "How do you feel about it?" And at that point, I felt numb. I couldn't express because I was emotional. So that takes me to the mental soul tie. Mental soul tie refers to a connection based on shared interests, intelligentalism, and a deep sense of kinship. So I had soul ties, all a sexual soul tie, a mental soul tie, emotional soul tie, and a physical soul tie. So as we sit here and I'm in this mental soul tie with this man, I told her, I'm just over dating. I might as well just go back to dating women because this is too much for me. And she said, "Oh no, the enemy ain't finna bring you all the way back. You done came too far." And I'm like, but how can you propose to somebody and then you don't call it off? I still want to marry you, but we're gonna go against what God said. And she said, that means God was shielding you from something. So I didn't look at it that way. My feelings was hurt. I was hurt. And she was trying to cheer me up and get me out of it, but I was so hurt. So I'm like, I will never be a wife. I will never get married. Number one, at this point, I have 3 kids. At this point, I have all this stuff going on. Oh, I will never get married. Let me just chop it up. And in my family, I only know 2 people that's married. One of them, her husband died, and my dad and my stepmom. They've been married for 24 years. So I'm like, okay, those are 2, but I wasn't close to my dad at the time because I was a foster child. So I'm like, okay, I'll be like, Mom, I'm never going to get married. I just accepted the fact that that's what I was going to be, right? So it took me to a spiritual soul tie. Spiritual soul ties are often connected to mature religion and spiritual beliefs. So after that happened, we get here, my brother passed away. And I'm like, bro, it's a lot. So, you know, the church took a little break because everybody was grieving his death. So I'm like, okay. I wasn't dating for a while. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I met this man. I didn't bring him to the church. I didn't let, I met him. He was talking a nice game, and they take me to my fourth child. And you know, I didn't nobody know I was pregnant. Come to church. It was time for church on a Sunday. I sent a text message, a group message. Oh, I can't come. I just had a baby. And they was like, what? You just had a who? What? When? Or what? So my sister Kenya called me, and she said, what you mean you just had a baby? She FaceTimed me. So I turned it, and the baby was white. She was like, that ain't your baby. Get them people back there, baby, and bring them to church. I understand you and your feelings, and you're upset right now. Get them people back there, baby, and come to church. So I texted my daughter. I said, your TT gonna come and get you. She said, where you at? I woke up and you went home. They weren't used to that. I said, I'm in the hospital. I just had a baby. She said, what? You just had a what? She said, nuh-uh. So I FaceTimed her. Mind you, I wasn't talking to my ability partner at the time. You know, me and her. My accountability partner. She put me in my feelings. I wasn't talking to her, right? So I wasn't talking to my sisters. I really, I wasn't talking to anybody. I didn't have accountability. I was moving on, me moving, right? And when you're a worldly entrepreneur, you need accountability. So she calls and she said, what is all this? Mind you, I don't think I included her in the message. I don't think I included my daddy in the message. I think it was just the sister. So she said, what is this I hear about you having a baby? What is going on? What? So I said, yeah. I didn't even answer the phone. I texted, this is the room number, this is what it is. So I have him. He come. He didn't have a name at the time either. He was... because I was trying to realize, was I going to keep it or not? Because if I don't keep it, won't nobody know. But if I do keep it, then everybody going to know. So I had him, and I said, God, what is this? And then at that point, I just wanted to hide in the rock and die. Because I'm like, why do I keep messing up? Why do I keep having babies after babies when I say out my mouth I want to be married? A soul tie can happen at any time and without warning. Hold on. It simply manifests from two people in an intense connection. Sometimes the connection develops right when they meet, but may also form more gradually. For a soul tie to occur, both people must equally feel the gravity of the relationship, right? So I was thinking, okay, so when God gave me that, I said, I was the only one that was in the soul tie. Because, they was able to leave, and I'm still bound and connected and, still doing what it is. So he took me to my fast, they don't mature today, my nieces, right? So I thought about it. I said, okay, I dealt with him, I dealt with being proposed to, and then I get into another relationship. My mama said, hey, it's about time for you to date again, get out, date. She said, you can't date being in the house, and I'm like, how? Why not? I would rather just talk to them over the phone. We don't ever have to meet a day in our life. She said, you can't get married that way. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna work. I need you to listen and to if you're trying to get married. So I said, okay. I get out. I date. I meet this, leprechaun, and we both listen, I was helping pay light bill, and this man told me, "Oh, you're a user." What? Okay, cut him off. And she was like, "What? Don't no." So I'm telling her what he said, and she's like, "Okay, it's ways to work around it. I don't think he meant it that way." She had a conversation with Prophet. He said the same thing. "Oh, your daughter using me. Using you for what? You're the same person that told me you'll spend your money on Jordans, didn't pay your light bill. How am I using you?" Right. No. So we broke up, and I said, "I'm not, this dating life ain't for me. It ain't for me. I can't get it right. My picker is off. Maybe I need to go back to being an entrepreneur." Because the kids was taken care of. I didn't have time to think about being married. And one man, I was the unicorn. They was bringing me into their relationships. And, so then Prophetess started praying over me. I didn't even have this conversation with her. That's why it's good to have accountability partners. She was praying over me. She said, one thing stuck out. She said she will not go back. So I'm like, I didn't already have 4 kids. If I go back now, what damage that's going to do? Then she started bringing my children, the soul tie. My children. You have 2 daughters. If they see you hoeing, they're going to think it's okay for them to hoe. If they see you doing this, they're going to think it's okay for them to do this. And she said, you're not your mama. That was one thing that stuck out to me. She said, because I see that you want better. So if you want better, let's do better. Let's get different results. So I came, I boo-hoo cried and, asked the Lord for forgiveness. And, I'm not going to hold no more. I will no longer be a worthy entrepreneur. At least I thought. So I'm battling back and forth. So at that time, because I wasn't talking to her, because I was ashamed and afraid, and you know how you didn't want to disappoint your mom, and I'm like, I don't want those results, those answers. I don't want to disappoint her. She needs to know that I'm the strong warrior, that I'm not going to fall. Don't want to be touched, and, So I said, I got to be strong. I can't let her know. And the more I was trying to be strong, the more I was getting weak. And I started watching porn.
Oh, wow.
And she came to me, she said, the Lord revealed to me that you're not having sex no more, but you're watching porn. And I was like, She said, whatever toy you're using, throw it away. I'm not going to get rid of the rose. No! When Auntie was talking about the rose, she was talking about the rose. I'm not going to get rid of that. No. So I held on to it for a little while longer. She came back. I don't know if she remembered that conversation. She came back. She said, so you still got it? I'm like, well, I got a bunny now. She said, so you went and got another toy? And I said, yeah. I said, I can't stop. I believe I do need to go see that therapist that she told me I need to go see because I was addicted to it. And it wasn't me being addicted to the toys. I was addicted to sex. I wasn't going to be the one who can stop having sex because I was so addicted to it. I was raped. It was just a lie. I was addicted to that part. I was addicted to having the power of, yeah, I got you right. I was addicted to that. It was like a adrenaline rush. So when she came to me, she said, oh, I know what you're addicted to. You're not addicted to having sex. You're addicted to the power that you get after you didn't have it. And I was like, well, yeah, and it's fun, and it's, And she said, it's fun for now. She said, but God told me, you go back, you have sex with this person, you're going to get HIV. I said, let's see. Do I want to test the odds? Because I heard that condoms, will prevent you from that. Then she came back and said, if you use a condom, it ain't going to prevent you from it. And I'm like, bro, how does this lady know my thoughts? I'm not having this conversation with her because I don't want to be delivered. I like being in these soul ties because I had the power of everybody that I was tied to. I was just able to pick up one phone and say, hey, I need $800 to my account. And it would come. I may have to call 2 people, but I would get that $800. I would have to worry where my next light bill money come from. So she said, yeah, God showed me you're going to get HIV. And if it's not HIV right away, you're going to get some type of sexual disease. Okay, well, I'd rather test my luck because some diseases are curable. You know. So I have sex again. I used a condom and I had chlamydia. And I'm like, yeah, she told me this. However, it's curable. She comes back. She said, God told me. She said, I am warning you. Tears forming in her eyes. She said, God told me, you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burnt for real. She said, you're going to have HIV. She said, you got chlamydia now? Because I confessed, I told her after the fact. I never confessed before because she was like, don't do it. And now that I know that she said, don't do it, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So I would confess after the fact. And I would say, hey, I did this, and this is what the results is. And I would look for her to clean up the mess. Because at this point, I don't know what to do. I just know I was having fun when it lasted. And now that it's not lasting, I'm sitting here looking like, what soul tie? So she said, I don't mind helping you. I don't mind praying for you. But I'm not going to keep doing it if you willfully keep going out there. And I'm like, I don't believe I'm willfully keep going out there. She said, them? What you mean you want me to call her? She said, who are you calling to help you from doing this? Nobody. I mean, who can I call? Who, why should I call them? They don't like me and I don't like them. Like, why?
Wow.
Didn't I say that?
That's hurtful.
I told her just like that. They don't like me and I don't like them. So, who do you want me to call? She said, if you're not comfortable with calling them, call me. Until you build their relationship with them, call me.
It's a lot coming down. This is why.
So I told her to go get to it. Don't ever y'all didn't know what this was. So I called her. It was one time. I practiced. I felt good. I called her. I said, look, I don't know what happened. The bed is wet. I didn't do it.
The bed is wet.
She said, you were having sex in your sleep. And I was like, I would have remembered that. I would have remembered that. Because I'm a person that likes sex. I would have remembered it. She said, the enemy comes and rape people while they're asleep sometimes. And I'm like, and she said, it will pull you back. And I said, oh, so that's why I have the urge to watch porn. That's why, she said, yeah. She said, I'm glad you called me. I'm going to come get you. So she come and get me. We out all day. We're not even talking about what she came and get me for. But we out all day. She said, so I'm going to take you home. She get in front of my house and she said, no, I'm not. Pack you and the kids up and y'all come to my house. And I'm like, I want to go to your house. At your house, it's not fun. I don't want to go to your house. She said, hey. But I packed the kids up. We go to her house. And that night, I started experiencing things that I never experienced before unless I was touching myself. And I get up and I tell her, I said, Mom, this is what happened. And she said, that's what I was telling you about. She said, but he done got bold enough to do it while you're awake. And I'm like, what? She said, you really have to purge and clean yourself of perversion. And I'm like, she said, spiritual perversion and natural. And I'm like, how am I perverted in the spirit, bro? Can't you be perverted in the spirit? So she said to me, she said, you have to cleanse yourself. She said, because if it's not, it's going to pass down to the grandbabies. And I'm like, I can't really cleanse myself because a part of me like it. And a part of me is like, okay, why is this happening? Because it ain't nobody around. So I had to tell her that. And she said, of course, it's the fact that you have all these unclean soul ties in you. You have to let these soul ties go. I'm like, how? I don't know how to, because everybody that I slept with made me feel some type of way. You know what I mean? I still think about one of them. I still think about that one from time to time. And I'm like, maybe if I go back to Florida, you know, on this, just for a vacation, because I don't want to live in Florida, but just a vacation, you know, and get a room, a baby won't go. A baby ain't going to come. One of my kids going to have a sibling. So I sat there and she talked to me. I cried about it. I let her know. She said, I don't want you to beat yourself up, because everybody that's an adult has had these experiences. So then the enemy started taking me back to when I was getting pictures sent of her butt and, stuff like that. He took me back. So I was having sexual dreams about who's supposed to be my mom. I was having sexual dreams about the pastor. You can't do that. You can't have sexual dreams about the pastor.
Right.
So, I started being weird. I didn't want to come around. I didn't want to be around my daddy. I didn't want to be around my mama. So she came. She said, what's going on? You went from being around every day to not even wanting to be around me, not wanting to talk. So I told her, I said, look, I didn't have these dreams. This is the dream. And she was like, oh, that's normal. What? Huh? I said, bro, so you're not mad? She said, no, why would I be mad? I said, the fact that you're supposed to be doing is having sexual dreams about you. It wasn't even about your husband, but about you. She said, that's the enemy playing tricks on your mind, letting you know that it will be better for you to be a lesbian. It'll be better for you to continue to be in these threesome relationships versus to you being married. And at that time, I didn't want to be married practice. I didn't want to be married. Too much comes with marriage. I don't want it. Like Kevin Hart said, I don't want it. No, take it away. Pineapples. I don't want it. So I, tell her about it. I pray because I'm like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be having sexual dreams about my mama. I don't want it. So I didn't understand that was an ungodly soul tie. So first, you have to identify the soul tie. The first step in breaking an unhealthy soul tie is acknowledging that it exists. Second, seek professional help. It don't have to be a therapist. Sometimes the emotional and physical entanglements are too complex to untangle alone. I was trying to untangle these alone without getting out of the spider web, the spider still got a hold of me. How you do that? And I didn't understand that. Set boundaries. Communicate openly. Reconnect with yourself. Practice self-care. Seek support from loved ones. You remember I said my sisters, they didn't like me, and I didn't like them.
Right.
Well, it was one-sided. I didn't like them, and I wasn't open to their help. Ask me who I call now. Sometimes my mama don't even be knowing what be going on. Oh, I didn't know that, but one of them don't know. Hey, this is what happened.
Oh, you didn't like those 2 years.
This is what happened. I called Alina in the heart, hey. And when I say hey, I guess they know the difference in my head. She be like, what you want? Sometimes it's what you want. What you want me to do? What favor you need? Then it'd be like, I'd be like, hey. She'd be like, what's going on? You need to talk? Hold on. Let me get to a quiet place because it sounds like you need to talk. I'm like, oh yeah, go on and get to that quiet place. Because John over here saying some things, and because I'm not above going back to soul ties. I'm not delivered enough to be like, oh, I'm not going to have feet to Jesus. Or sometimes it's going to be feet to Jesus. But hey, we're not going to talk about that.
So good.
I had to realize and understand that if I didn't break these soul ties or get out of the spider's web, my children
Real talk.
will be entangled in the same web, and all of us are entangled in the same web. Then I had a conversation with my nieces. See, sometimes, they call me Miss Sequoia or whatever, but when they need to talk, I'm auntie. So I let that happen. So I had a conversation, but I didn't know that they were looking at me. And I'm like, how can y'all be watching the hoe? I'm a hoe. I will always be a hoe. In my mind, that's what I thought. In my mind. Because, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
You can. God did.
Right. But I wasn't there yet. I was still, I would never get married. I would never get married. I don't, maybe 3 weeks ago, the same word you gave me, prophetess, last night, my mama said the same thing. Oh, he's coming. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's coming. He is coming. We done had that hope for 10 years, and I'm still single. I done seen everybody else get married 2 or 3 times, and I'm still single. I done seen them have sex with the men and still get married. I'm still single.
Oh.
Not knowing that I wouldn't have been able to birth him because of these ungodly soul ties and being tied to somebody else's web. I didn't understand that I was still in love with my child's father. I didn't understand that I was still in love with the guy that I was supposed to marry. I didn't even understand that I was still in love with the guy that called me a user. So I sat there and I said, God, because we just got tight. We hadn't always been tight. So I said, God, I need your help, because I'm in these ungodly soul ties. I want deliverance. I do want to be married one day, but I want to be married before I get in my 40s. I'll be 33 next week. I want to be married before I get in my 40s. And it didn't look like that was going to happen. I had no hope, no faith. Prior to my mom saying this, I don't even know if she know, my sister told me. She said, it looks like you have lost the faith of getting married. She was like, I want to encourage you that not to lose your faith, not to faint, not to fall. She said, it was Selena. She give you those thoughts. And she said, I want you to continue to push through. And I said, in the back of my mind, the enemy was playing tricks. Because I'm like, you married. How you going to tell me to push through when you married? No. That's what she said. She said, that's how I got married, pushing through. Because, the enemy was playing tricks on my mind.
Right, I saw it.
And I'm in a place to where I like my sister now. So I tell her what's on my mind. And I was like, you married. You can't tell me to push through. You're not over here single with 4 kids. And she said, that part I was thinking. I didn't say that part to her because she got 5. I didn't say that part to her. She said, listen, a man will marry a woman with kids. And I'm sitting here, I say, yeah, that's something she knows. That's something that's happened. So then, maybe, 2 weeks later? If 2 weeks, my mama came and she said, he's coming. I see. He's coming. And I'm like, he's coming, yeah. So I left a little encouraged. I left, I will be married. Me and Drew were married Horace. I look at my daddy, or entrepreneur sometimes. I look at my daddy and I say, my daddy married my mama. And their relationship is good. And they have this awesome relationship. And I'm like, I want that relationship. I want my husband to love me like my daddy loved my mama. I want that type of relationship. And I would say that, and my mama said, you're going to have a relationship better than mine. And I'm like, it don't get no better than this. What you mean? She said, oh no, we did some things. But your relationship, your marriage is going to be better. So that made me start, thinking about it. And I was able to undo these soul ties, and I was able to hold myself and keep myself to myself before I explode again. So in my closing, yeah, in my closing, because I see the food coming. In my closing, I want to encourage the single women that we have to, number one, gel together, accountability. Number two, find somebody, because you can't bring those soul ties into your marriage. Some of us are not married because we're still holding on to soul ties. And we can't bring soul ties, whether we're dating right now, whether we're trying to date, whether we keep getting into failed relationships because we have these soul ties. And we're taking these out on the men that don't deserve it.
Come on now.
Because if I see anything that remind me of John, Tom, Harry, and his brothers and cousins, I don't want it. We got to sit at the wife life coach feet and figure out, because we throw away the good men to be, I like them tall, dark skinned, and unfortunately I was told that my husband may not be tall and dark skinned, so I have to deal with it. I have to listen. I don't like white men, but if I want to be married, that may be what I get. I didn't need her help with that. Just to think of it, that he's not gonna be tall, dark, and chocolate, and the sweat drip. Most people don't understand when that sweat drip off that chocolate. It look like a juicy Hershey bar, right? Y'all don't understand. It's serious. We have to understand and want what's God's best for me. What's God's best for you? God's best for me, I'm sorry, brother, you're not dark, but God's best for me may be, the color of your jacket. I want to be the color of the chair. This chair right here. But he may be the color of the shirt we got on. And I have to accept that. But I have to realize I have been in a relationship with a financer, somebody that was taking care of me. I have been in a relationship with somebody that was making me feel good sexually. But I've been in a relationship that I went through the whole process of birthing the man out.
Come on now.
And I had to think about that. I said, I never went through that process. I was dating, but I never birthed him out. I let my best friend, my work, my entrepreneurship, sometimes get in the way. Because when she goes, she got a mind of her own. When she goes to talk, things seem to happen. And instead of me picking up the phone and saying, hey, my homegirl talking, what do I need to do? Can you come and get me? Can we spend two or 3 days? There'd be times that I'll go on vacation with her just to go. Only because I know I will fall into something. So if you're at that point, and we know we got all these soul ties, we have to uproot them. We have to push them, get ourselves delivered, just so that we can do what it is that we need to do. We cannot birth out a man and still be bound with the other man's spirit in us. My sisters preached on something, tainted sperm. A lot of us got that, and that's why a lot of us are single.
Wow.
A lot of us still got tainted sperm, and we're working and we're operating. Notice I said we're operating on the tainted sperm because we're like, it made us feel good. I want to still, have y'all ever just been walking? I know y'all married people do it. Y'all just been walking and that touch your husband did 3 weeks ago, it come back to you. Yeah. It worked for us single women too.
Wow.
It go back to 5 years ago, and the way John held your hand, and you feel this rush through your body, and sometimes you're like, did I pee on myself? No, it ain't pee. It's that ungodly soul tie that's trying to raise up. Because now you're looking for John number, and you can't find John number. So now you're looking at other men pockets books or whatever, polls, to see if it matches John, so you can get that same feeling.
Right. It's so true.
I don't know about nobody else. I know I do.
It's true.
I will. A man try to talk to me. That's the first place I go to. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. That's why I bring them to them, and because I can't help it. Because you look like you got a baby carrot, and the white men got baby carrots. I can't do it. I'm just telling you, in my mind, then that may be why I'm single. I may need to, erase that out of my mind. Because in my mind, they all got baby carrots, right? They don't. She said they don't. So we're going to go with the one who had a white man before. They don't. But in my mind. And I think that's a lot of us. We got this image in our mind of what we want, and it's not the best for us. We got this image because if a black man hit me, if a white man hit me, I'm going to hit him back. We're both going to just be, you know what I mean? But you're not going to hit me and think you're going to get away with it. And I think a lot of us have that in our minds. We're with these men because, number one, we can control them. They do whatever we want them to do. We can control them. And that's not God's best for us. We need somebody to lead us. And if y'all didn't take away nothing out of anything this week, everybody that preached said you need a man to lead you. And I believe that that's why we're not married, because we want to do the leading. If you don't, it's my way or the highway. And it's my way or the highway. And now you're taking the highway because you're still single. Now you sitting here and you're trying to figure out, you're looking at everybody else's relationship and you're like, they're married. She got married before me, but I've been here longer than her. She got married before me, and because that was me. I'm like, how is everybody getting married and I'm still sitting here? But I had ungodly soul ties, tainted sperm. And just because I wasn't using my hot pocket to get it, any other way, giving oral sex is still a sin. But in my mind, it wasn't. Nowhere in the Bible said oral sex is a sin in my mind. I needed that, spelled out. Because to me, that's a loophole. I can take that loophole. Yeah, I needed it spelled out. I'm being honest. But it's all unclean soul ties. Ungodly soul ties.
Breaking the soul ties. I originally did not want the little people here because I knew her message was going to be graphic. But it may have been needed. Everybody just jump up for 10 seconds. She did do a good job of editing. I had y'all to jump up for 2 reasons. One, to stretch. She did not preach a shout and run around and dump message. But there were phenomenal morals. Can you grab those baskets, please? There were phenomenal tidbits or nuggets, if you will. Her testimony, like I told you, was powerful. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And when you're dealing with perversion, it comes in many forms. Y'all know sex is my wheelhouse. So, of course, the people who are undercover in any capacity are the ones that God sends to me. So I can't throw her back because she was bound by a specific type of perversion and I became a target. I'm the target on multiple levels. The ones that are offense prone, I'm the target. No matter what I say. The ones bound by perversion, I'm the target. No matter what I wear. The ones with mommy issues, the ones with daddy issues, they have daddy issues and I'll be the target. And so I realized that I have to manage those relationships differently because they need something that they can only get from me. Powerful, right? Because if I don't love them past where they are, they get thrown back into the world because another pastor's not going to put up with it. The moment they know, the females know a breed that the pastor, they're attracted to the pastor and they want to have sex with them. They don't know what to do with that, so they kick them out. They throw them back out there to be devoured by their spirit of perversion, ecclesia. She talked about breaking the soul ties. I want to say this to you all. And I want you guys to understand that the enemy is strategic with soul ties. Taste not, touch not, handle not the unclean thing. Yes, I'm going to minister tonight and all of that. Bring. And did we give you your basket of hotel snacks last night? Did you get the small one?
I didn't get a small one. I got that one right there.
Well, no, we have a little small one, a little munchie. That's the one who made it. I want you guys to understand something. The transparency that she stopped hitting, the transparency that she ministered with is necessary in the church as a whole. But I don't want y'all to get caught up on anything that was said. I want you to get caught up on what was not said. And I want to clarify two things. When she said she watched her sisters have sex with men and get married, she was not talking about these two sisters. She was talking about a few others. Matter of fact, it's about 3 or 4 of them. Kiva, Keisha, Chalisa. Who else got married? All of them had sex before they got married. And the others, I want you guys to know something. I want y'all to be happily married to the men that God has for y'all. But it can't be a popular little church-going situation. If you want a little cutesy church-going situation, it's not going to work out. Not here. You can go somewhere else. We're not anointed for what the little cutesy church-going situation. We are anointed for purpose and we are anointed for change. And we have to deal with the real issues. So I know it was graphic. And it may have been a little uncomfortable for some, because, but you know the truth. They should know the truth, and the truth should make you free. Because in the church, a lot of times the single women that have sexual struggles, they can't really talk to the pastor. They can't really talk to anybody about it because they're going to be judged. They're going to be condemned. So you may have the desire to be married. You may have that desire for sex. But as a woman of God and a woman of faith, you can't really say it's thriving real strong right now. Because you're going to be condemned. Not in this house. I appreciate the freedom. I appreciate the liberty. But now I want everybody to close your eyes. Every unmarried woman specifically, close your eyes and lay hands on yourself. And repeat after me. Say, Lord, my body is a sanctuary. It is a temple. I do not want to defile it. I need strength to make sure that I don't cooperate with the enemy's plan to defile it. Most of my soul ties were not forced. I chose to engage in the activity that perverted me. Now, God, cleanse me. Cleanse my mind. Cleanse my heart. Cleanse my emotions. Wash away the memories of the perverse actions that brought me the greatest pleasure. Help me to pull down vain imaginations and help me to confront sexual seduction. I bind incubus, I bind succubus, and I bind me. In Jesus' name, amen. The The reason you binding you is because most of you in this room are the aggressors. You're subtle. You know how to throw out the breadcrumbs to seduce the man and have him thinking that he's the one that's doing, but you really want it and you're making it happen. And it doesn't matter how good your hot pocket is, it will never keep a man if he is not assigned by God to be your husband. So it's best to keep the hot pocket in the packet. Because if your hot pocket is in your packet, you are less likely to develop an ungodly soul tie with somebody you're not supposed to be having sex with or spending your life with. Last thing I'm going to say, I believe. You need to grab somebody next to you. Grab them by the hand. And look them in the eye. Say, you know what? We have more in common than you realize. I've been praying. I haven't prayed for you like I need to. But right now, I'm committing to starting. Let me tell you what I need. So you can pray for me too. I need strength. I need discipline. I need compassion. I need understanding. I need more wisdom. I need a little more money. And I want some real friends. I ask you to pray that my relationship with God goes stronger. And also pray that I remain consistent in the word. You know what? Say it. I believe you need those too. So I'm going to pray for you. And you pray for me. Because we're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied.
Don't stop.
You are important to me. I need you to survive. Yeah, we got a panel at 2. We got a discussion at 2. So we're gonna light the stir nose and heat up the food because I'm hungry. I want to eat before we have the panel discussion. Yeah, and y'all send text messages. Anybody that y'all don't need to be here, we got some empty chairs. Invite them to fill in this handful. It's only about 10 or 12 chairs. Invite them to come on back. Guys and girls telling you they need to be here for this panel. Send a text. Pick up your phone. Text somebody right now. Say, hey, you need to get here. Text somebody who's not here. Father, we give you glory. We thank you right now for everything that you've done in this Wife Life Boot Camp. And as we prepare to have fun, and as we prepare for the panel, Father God, let your spirit continue to flow even in the fun. In Jesus' name, we pray and give thanks. Amen. Did everybody send a text invitation to somebody? Hurry up. No, we're not eating at this moment. Hold on. You already cut it? Cut it. Really quickly, because I know we said we were going to do some bingo for fun for like 30 minutes. Do you